Basically what hot skin is that the sides of the RV become live, become electrified.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
Hello everybody and welcome to Vlogcast episode 94. My name is Russ.
And I'm Carrie.
And we are the roads we roam. We're a couple living full-time in our little guy Max.
We are boondocking, still just outside of the Tucson area.
Yeah.
Our last day here, we are going to get ready and head north towards Phoenix area tomorrow. We are still enjoying this wonderful weather that they're having out here. Even in the 80s, it still wasn't too hot. We have not run the AC yet.
Yeah, it was actually high 80s yesterday. It was 87. But with the little guy Max and all of its windows, there was a beautiful cross breeze going in there. It was cooler inside there than it was outside.
That's why I kept going back inside the trailer.
Yeah, and this is such a great area here. I guess since this is our last day, we can tell everybody where this is.
It's in the Ironwood National Forest, or Ironwood Forest area, and it's a national monument overseen by the BLM.
Yep.
Just in the Marana area.
Yeah, it's gorgeous out here. We are going to pin this, and we are going to definitely return. With all BLM sites, you can stay here for 14 days. We actually had a BLM officer come up last night, and we talked to him.
That made me feel good. When we had boondocked out in Pytown, which was BLM, we didn't see anyone. We didn't even see anybody in the town during that, but it was bad weather during that time too. But it was just kind of reassuring. We were sitting out at the campfire last night. We saw the BLM officer come through, and he said, you know, I just wanted to check on y'all, make sure everybody was okay, if you had any questions, and that was just very reassuring, and I liked that. You
know, one thing that I had read about this area was that it was a fantastic site. You get a lot of positives, but if you keep reading a little bit further on the BLM website, they talk about that this area is also a corridor for illegal alien traffic.
And drug trafficking.
I actually spoke with the BLM ranger. He said in the area where we are, not so much. He said you have to go a little bit more south, which makes sense because you're closer to the border, and there's a lot of illegals coming through that area, as well as, you know, the cartels are running drugs through that area. But where we are, he said there's no problems, and we felt very safe. There are a couple other people out here, but we can't even see them really. You kind of really have to look to see people.
Well, there's so much room to spread out and around, and I did have somebody reach out and kind of ask us the area where we were, because he has a 40-foot motorhome and he was wondering where you could come in. Now where we are, no, because we kind of had to come up these hilly, windy roads, but there are some areas that a motorhome could, just not on this upper level. Down on the lower level you could.
Yeah, there's an area too, there's a small bridge that's a single lane bridge, and even with us, with the truck and the small unit, we were close to being overweight, if not overweight, for that bridge. So you definitely have to do your research before you come out here. One thing that the BLM agent also said that I found interesting was that we were in a BLM site, but he said there are some circles of state sites.
Little pockets.
Yeah, little pockets of it out here. So you have to be aware of that too, because there is no camping in those state sites, but the BLM sites there are.
We'll put some information on that below in today's video with some of the notes, so if you're interested. But if you have more questions beyond that, you can get a hold of us. We found the location off of freecampsites.net. Yeah,
it's a terrific site. Highly suggest it. We are actually out here with Two Doves Nation. We're kind of caravanning. We're going to be caravanning for a while here. But, you know, one thing that I didn't expect from this experience is just there's kind of like that symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
You know, one of the neat things that we've been doing is we've been alternating nights for cooking. The first night they cooked, we had a taco night.
They were so good.
Yeah, and then we had Hawaiian spam musubi and chicken night, teriyaki chicken.
I had to.
Which is what we did. And tonight, I believe...
last night they had a great noodle stir fry.
Stir fry, yep. And tonight we are making a goulash. So it's really neat, and we usually have leftovers, so a lot of times we'll have the leftovers for lunch. We save a lot of money. You save a lot of time because, like Amanda said, it's so nice not having to worry about making food every night.
Yeah, just being able to alternate like that. But one of the things that I did find difficult when we first started this, we kind of transitioned to this shortly after becoming true empty nesters. All my recipes had been based off of our family, so I always made things a lot more, and trying to cut things back, and I'm going to stab you with it.
I know.
And trying to make these things not only just for the two of us. You know, when we did that at home, I had plenty of leftovers. I could put it in the big fridge and we'd work our way through the week. Now it doesn't work that way. You know, it's pretty much for a meal so we can have a couple days. Otherwise, we're eating the same meal for 5 days.
Yeah, and it's good because, like you said, your recipes are basically, they were for 4 or more. So now there are 4 of us. So it works out real well. It's one thing that we enjoy. And really, you know, like today, they are going out. When I say they, 2 Dozen Nation are going to go out. They're going to do some filming. We're going to watch Polly, their dog, while they go out.
They may not get her back. Polly's really cute.
And we have some things that we're going to do when we get to our next campsite, and they're going to watch our dogs for us. So it is a really neat relationship. And we highly suggest, if you ever have the opportunity to caravan with some new people and you've checked them out and you feel that you guys might jive well, don't be afraid. Do it, because this has been such a very neat experience for us.
And you can also learn so much. You get into the habits that you fall into when you first hit the road. You've just done things one way. But then seeing people do things another way, it just kind of makes you go, why didn't we think of that? Let's try that. And you can actually see it and get the feedback right away. So I like that as well.
Yeah. So I think we should jump right into the news, because we have
Today's RV News Wednesday.
Yeah, and we've been talking about what we've been doing and what our experiences are. And we hope you guys enjoy that. But I think now it's time to jump into the news.
Yep. As usually, we go through and we pick a couple of news stories that have just kind of stood out to us, and we wanted to pass them along to you, and we give our feedback, and we'd love to hear your feedback. The first one has a little bit where it touches home a little bit, because it's some news that relates to little guys.
Yeah.
Little guy trailers. Interstate RV Sales is one of the more recently authorized dealers to carry the Little Guy Max trailers.
It's always nice to see Little Guy and Liberty Outdoors expanding their dealer base, because there are a lot of people around the country that want them, but sometimes they have to travel distances to get to them. So kudos to Liberty Outdoors, Little Guy, to expanding that dealer base.
And this is a very good dealer, because they do something very unique and interesting that is the reason why this really stood out to me. They make a donation of every trailer sold, including their Little Guy trailers, to KOA Care Camps.
Yeah, if you don't know what KOA Care Camps are, these are camps that are designed to benefit, and also I believe they have children with cancer visit these sites, correct?
They go to special oncology camps.
Yes.
So that way the children that are undergoing treatment get to do it in an environment where maybe it makes it just less stressful for them as well as their family, and they can have some fun times where they can make some friends and also kind of work with other people that are going through the same thing in a good environment. Take
your mind, take the family's mind, take the children's mind off of this horrible experience that they're going through. I think it's fantastic. I think KOA is fantastic for seeing the need for this, and I think Interstate RV Sales is fantastic for donating. You always have to applaud a company that gives back, and both Interstate RV Sales as well as KOA are giving back, and I'm getting goosebumps for it right now.
Yeah, he's getting his little teary.
I am, yeah.
So if you want to check them out, KOA Care Camps, they can be found at koacarecamps.org. And you can also check out, if you're in the market for an RV and you want to do some good at the same time, interstatervsales.com.
And we have no affiliation with either one of them, but we wanted to call out 2 companies that we felt were doing good things. So, okay, on to number 2.
Yes, number 2. Last night, City Council leaders in Berkeley, California gained the final approval for an RV parking ban in the city. You cannot park your RV in the city limits on the streets between the hours of 2 a.m. 5 a.m. and that was effective immediately.
Yeah, now this may So when you first hear this, you may be like, what? You know, what's going on? This is crazy. And to be honest with you, I felt the same way. We kind of talked about San Francisco was talking about doing the same thing. And then we had a resident of San Francisco come back at us with some information that we didn't necessarily see. There are a lot of people that are living in their RVs like us, but there are also a lot of, and we are responsible. We pack up our trash, we take it out. We typically don't stay in a city street or on a city street, but there are some people that are doing that, and they're not living responsibly. They're leaving their trash, they're leaving their human waste, you know, and I do see where Berkeley says that it is a problem with safety, because these are big rigs sometimes, and you can't see around them when you're coming into a corner. But on the other hand, it does affect us as well, because maybe there was a park that we could have camped at overnight, and now with that regulation, we can't. Now, I know that the city, along with that immediate banning of that, they have come out with plans to also have permits as well.
Well, they're going to start discussions on a permitting system that will allow exemptions for up to 2 weeks. And I'm thinking that's more in line with, let's say, you just bought an RV, or you're moving or something like that, and you're putting in a special, just like with dumpsters, you know, large dumpsters that you get a permit so you can park it in certain areas. But then that way it's not a long-term thing, and they also have the information on the individual. So if you were to illegally dump things, or if you were to leave your human waste there. And another issue that was brought up, a lot of these RVs were parked in areas where it took parking away from the residents that lived, or businesses, people being able to get in and out.
Yeah.
So that's effective immediately. That went into effect just yesterday evening. So I'll put the link to the full story below if that affects you or you want more information.
Yeah, this could definitely get heated, and definitely there are two sides of the fence here. So, you know, it's one of those things. I can see both sides of the fence.
Oh, I agree, because there's always the people that maybe take advantage of situations. There might be hardship situations, and then there are just people that were just passing through and now they can't do that. So it just affects a myriad number of people, and we just wanted to get it out there so that you know, so you don't get in trouble if you're going through Berkeley and you think you can park overnight while you're visiting friends or just in the area.
Here's another quick tip about driving through California while you're towing a trailer.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't matter if you have an 18-foot trailer like ours. It doesn't matter if you have a 40-foot trailer. If you are towing a trailer in the state of California, you are not allowed to go over 55 miles an hour.
And then I heard another thing, that you're not allowed to be in the far left lane.
Oh, well, good. Something else. We're going to have to research that, because we're hitting California here pretty soon.
Yeah, somebody at Escapade told me that last week. So.
Excellent.
Moving on to story number 3, how camping has changed. So Mike Wendland from RV Lifestyle, very well known for his road trek, but
his
now
podcasts.
And podcasts. He interviewed Toby O'Rourke, the CEO of KOA, recently about how camping has changed and what it's like in 2019. And I thought this was a really interesting thing. So if you can get a chance, check out their podcast for the full excerpt. Yeah. But some of the highlights of it, one that stood out to you right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but you know, this is from KOA's research. I just haven't seen it, but then again, maybe we're segmented, you know, on how we're traveling, how we're visiting. They say that 35% of RVers are actually millennials.
And the other thing with that, millennials tend to travel in groups.
Yeah.
Like about 8 to 10 people on average, which I thought was interesting as well.
So they are obviously starting now to market towards millennials, but also they're having to change up their camping system, their campsites. Because these campsites typically were set up for a family, maybe a couple, but now you're going to have to set these campsites up to draw these millennials. If they're 35% of the market, that's huge. You're going to have to set it up so you can handle 8 to 10 people at one campsite.
Well, look at even how we're boondocking. We just have another couple joining us, but you orient your camp space a little different. So you have these common areas that you can congregate within your little group. So there are other campers around, but we're kind of in here. And I can see how KOA would be looking at setting up little clusters or little circles in their newer locations, which there has been a 72% increase of people going camping overall over the last 5 years. And these are people who go camping 3 times or more.
I can believe that. I can see that. It seems to be the thing to do nowadays. What else do we have here?
Well, more people reserve online nowadays.
Yep.
48% of KOA's reservations have been made online.
You know, here's an issue with that we've run into is we have a 18-foot rig towed by a truck. And sometimes we'll try to make reservations and it'll say your rig is too long online. And we'll end up having to call them. I don't know what the reason is. I know you have some thoughts on that.
Well, I don't know if it's just in the system where they might be trying to fill up certain other spots first and then it's just a default and then they have to manually go in. We just ran into this yesterday because we're heading into Phoenix and as Russ mentioned before, we're kind of caravanning with Two Doves Nation. We were able to make a reservation online, but they were not. They actually have a smaller rig than we do. They have a little casita. And we were kind of laughing at that saying, well, if their rig is too big, what type of spot is this?
It doesn't get much smaller than that.
But they called and, oh yes, we have a spot open.
So I guess the moral of the story here is if you do try to register online, they say your rig is too big, make sure to give them a call. Don't give up.
Yeah, it might be just a placeholder. In this instance, I think it was because they did have a spot open, but it wasn't full hookups, and maybe there wasn't a way for them to put that in the reservation system. This way people do have to call and they can give them a heads up so they're not
Hey, you're not getting full hookups. Yeah, good point.
Now, talking about the KOAs, did you know that there are 3 different types of KOAs?
Okay, so let me see if I get this here.
Test time.
Okay, so I know there's Journey. I know there's Holiday. And hold on. Oh, let's see. What's the third one?
Resort.
Resort. Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Now, do you know the difference between the 3?
So I think journeys are usually typically right off the freeway. They're just kind of meant to get you as you're going, pull off, easy access, and then move on.
Yep, just for an overnight type of thing on your way to your destination.
Okay, so holidays, I know when we've stayed at several holidays, and they are pretty cool. There's a lot going on there. They typically have really nice bathrooms. They typically have mini golf and all kinds of things for the kids to do, but I don't know the specific difference.
So holidays have some recreation, like what you're talking about, patio lots that you can get, and cabins available for people.
Okay, so what are the resorts? Because I don't have a clue about that one.
The resorts are all in. Anything that you want. You don't have to leave that area to go and have fun if you don't want to. They have planned activities. I think the Manchester KOA one, I'd have to double check that, but that one, they had planned activities around Halloween and hay rides and little bumper car things.
They had those little jumpy things. Yeah, they had everything there.
So KOA has 20 resorts right now. They built 16 new KOAs just over the last year. Total?
Resort, whatever?
Brand new ones, yes, total.
Yep.
And 13 more are coming this year.
Now, I did read this article as well, and I saw that within a year, all KOAs will be marketed and branded in one of those 3 areas. Now, not all of them are, the majority of them are, but within 1 year, KOA says all KOA sites will either be Journey, Holiday, or Resort.
Exactly. So that way you kind of know what you're getting ready to book and what type of activities you can plan in and around that.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and thanks to Mike Wendland and Toby for that great interview. And like I said, check it out on RV Lifestyle, the podcast, if you get a chance.
Yep.
So our last story for today, story number 4. It's a warning, actually, and this has to do with Heimer and our Heimer branded motorhomes. There's a company, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right.
Just give it a shot.
Sweet Hacks.
Yeah, that's what I say.
SUIET. They're a company dedicated to improving RV safety. And they're doing a campaign right now to hopefully correct, but at the very least inform owners of road treks and active RVs.
Okay.
There's two issues. One has to do with electrical.
Yeah, this is the scariest one.
Yes. It has to do with the inverter charger. There's a grounding wire that is 5 times too small to effectively ground the RV. And they said to prevent a hot skin condition, which I had never heard of this before.
I hadn't either, but reading it, basically what hot skin is that the sides of the RV become live, become electrified. And if a human were to touch it, well, they become the ground.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is DC. You know, if we're talking direct current, a lot of times that's just a really bad shock and maybe a burn or something like that. Or if it's AC, that could be deadly.
Yeah.
So and then there's also issues with fires. I could imagine with that wire being too thin, not able to handle the heat, I could imagine you might have a fire issue as well.
Well, here's the most amazing thing about that. According to this article, to fix that, all you need is to replace it with a 6-inch heavy gauge wire, $1 in parts,
Yep.
and about 30 minutes of labor.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me. Now, I can see some issues because everybody knows that the Heimer brand basically went out of business. They're gone now. So it's not some warranty work, but I'm sure most RV centers will do this for you. If not, there are a lot of RV repair services that will do this for you. I think that's a no-brainer. I think you got to get that done. It's a safety issue, not only for you, but maybe somebody who is just walking by your campsite.
Well, I know if I owned one, even if we were having issues where it wasn't resolved yet, what to do with warranty issues, something like that, I would set aside the money for the cost to get that.
Yeah, and $1 and 30 minutes of labor can't be much more than, it's under $100 to fix that.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine so.
Okay, so what's the other area?
It's a plumbing issue.
Okay.
Well, they hit two big ones here.
Yeah.
It's an illegal bypass with the water heater. Heimer had installed a valve on a pipe that was designed to release steam or hot water in the event of excess pressure buildup.
Okay.
Heimer had added an offshoot, an additional valve on that drain line. Now, if that drain line is ever closed, the hot water can't relieve the pressure and it could rupture.
Okay, so again, these are things that we don't know too much about. We've just read the article and we thought it's important to get it out there. So if you do have a Heimer, definitely want to check into these.
The Heimer Active.
Okay, and what are the, what's the cost to repair that?
About $125 in parts and about an hour and a half of labor.
Okay, so that's a little more pricey, but still when it comes to safety or the investment that you have, a lot of these units are $80,000, $100,000 plus. It makes sense just to get those fixed.
Well, the water damage alone, or if it's incredibly hot water, you could get burned depending if the regulator or not. So we just wanted to put that out there for you. If you own one of those vehicles, maybe get someone to look at it and get that fixed.
Definitely. Well, guys, that's all we have now. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, tips, comments, or news that you think we should know about, please get a hold of us and let us know about them.
Getting hold of us is very easy. You can go to theroadsweroam.com. You can click on our contact page. We have multiple ways listed there. You can also click on the little orange tab on any of our pages where you could leave us a voicemail message.
Yep.
You can also get a hold of us on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, or leave a comment below. But before you do any of that, please take a moment to consider subscribing and hit that like button.
Yeah, we make it easy to find us. So please take advantage of that. And I think that's all for now. So
that's all, folks.
We'd like to wish you all a very happy day and hope to see you on the road sometime.
All right, bye.